This is the reality of filming. Sometimes you gotta do multiple takes. Sometimes you do the intro last, and you look like what you've been through in the process. Oh! One of them looking like what you've been through moments. But the thing is, I don't look like half of what I've been through. Because if you only know. For sure. All right, y'all. So we back. We back with another one. It's been a minute. This is Godfidently Waiting with your girl Daria in the trenches. All right, guys. So hey, I know it's been about, I think over a month now since I've posted a vlog episode. But it was the motivation for this episode about confidently waiting in the trenches. A lot of times on social media, you will see, or television, when people are sharing their stories and talking about how they made it out of certain life experiences, it's talking about it when you're already out of it, you know? And it's easy to want to motivate somebody when you're out of it because now you've seen the other side. And so this video is for everyone who's in the trenches and you don't want to hear the cliches. You don't want to necessarily hear from people who have already been on the other side. They done been on the side for a long time now. Because you in the fight now. You're in your dark moment now. And you trying to keep your head above water. You trying to find a way out. Like you at that low point of the wave. Because life and grief, and we grieve so many things. That it goes beyond just the death of a loved one. But we grieve so many things in life. And it's literally like the waves in the oceans. We have our high moments, our low moments. Some moments are better than others. Some moments are longer than others. I hadn't posted in a while because my grandmother passed away. And I was avoiding posting a vlog because I felt like I had to be together completely emotionally. I didn't need to be crying in the video because I'm supposed to motivate you and encourage you. And then a couple of nights ago, I was in my dark moment and I was at the low point of the wave, just missing my mom and having one of those frequent real moments with God where I've asked the questions before and he gave me all these things to share. And, you know, I was like, oh, okay, I'll do the video this weekend. But then I was like, well, I don't want to do the video. I don't feel like reliving those emotions. I don't feel like being sad. And I got really convicted because the thing about our life experiences, the reason why we will stay stuck in what we're going through is because we're focusing on us and how it's making us feel. It's all about me and I. And I'm learning that when you can shift the focus to our purpose and our calling. I was called for greater than this moment. I was called to help people, that I've learned my purpose through my struggles, through those hard, traumatic experiences, where the fact of the matter is, my calling is the very thing I'm afraid of. I don't like the idea of knowing what God has for me. To be on stages, to be on book tours, to be, you know, at conferences and talking to other people. It's easy to be behind the camera when it's just you and the camera. And if anybody has anything to say negative, okay, whatever. It's another thing when you're around people and you want to be able to help somebody. But you can sometimes get I don't know, maybe a little discouraged trying to help one person because you're seeing someone else is just like uninterested, you know? I've learned within the past couple of days, I claimed procrastination for years. And I then started to say, I said I'm a recovering procrastinator. That's what I would say. I started saying. But then I was like, you know what? No, I just need to remove that from me completely. Every negative trait that doesn't need la 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 la. Words make sentences, and where's my best friend? Like, these things should not define me. It should not be who I am. So having to use extra big words is not who I am right now. That wasn't my ministry, and I'm okay with it. But it's not going to stop me from learning to expand my vocabulary, okay? Don't get it twisted. Okay. All right. But I had to start really dealing with, why do I procrastinate? And I learned that it's easier to not try than to try or try again or try for a third time or 100th time and fail again or fail, mess up, face rejection, face embarrassment or shame. And so rather than dealing with those things, I just don't try at all. So my example would be with school. I've put things off. Like, since college, I would just put things off, do stuff last minute, like night before kind of things. And I realized the reason why I would do it was because it would be easier to not try, to keep putting it off. And then when I do it last minute, that if I make a bad grade, it's not because I'm not smart enough. It's because I waited until the last minute. And so it will be easier for me to accept a bad grade because I knew that I didn't put my all into it. I waited to the last minute versus starting on it weeks at a time and then really putting all my effort into it to do my best and then get a bad grade. And now I feel like I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. For those who don't know, I learn differently. I have, learning disability. One of the struggles that I had was test anxiety. And that in itself was just a discouragement. And the reason why was because when I realized this struggle, I gave the wrong person access to my vulnerability. And whatever you're going through, I want you to please be mindful of who you give yourself access to. Some people do better just kind of being isolated and just let God just deal with you in your moment. Some people need to be around others. We weren't created to be alone anyways, but to have that community. Be mindful of your community. Everybody doesn't deserve access to you. When my mother passed away, there were a lot of people trying to get access to me. And I'm like, y'all could be her fake friends all day, but I don't need y'all in my life. I held on to y'all for her. She gone. It is what it is. I got peace with that. Because there are people who did not know me, but swore that they knew me. And if you knew me, you would have known how to approach me. There are people who I knew really were not even for me, really didn't care for me like that. But it's the idea of, well, I said she was my friend, so I got to do everything I can to be there for you. No, you don't. It's okay. I know way more than what people realize. Me and her talked about everything. But people felt like because she was my mom that, no, we were really best friends. We talked about everything. I knew a lot. My cup runneth over. I knew a lot. But in helping me to grow and mature, I would tolerate people and still be cordial for the sake of her because they were her friends. But don't allow everyone to have access to you. Be mindful. Be so careful. I remember there was a guy that I talked to in college, and I told him about my test anxiety. And he, you know, I know now, like, he had his own insecurities, and his way of handling his own insecurities or masking his insecurities was to always joke around. And it just, there's a time and place for everything. And when I told him about it, his response was that he laughed at me and was like, oh, ha, you slow. That was not the thing to say to me. You know, I was being vulnerable. I was being honest and transparent. And I thought that this was a friend to be able to share this with. And I've had friendships that were like that. I've had friendships. I've had dating relationships where they have said things about me in my times of being vulnerable, because I tried to learn how to gain strength and vulnerability. And I just started labeling vulnerability as a weakness from that point on. Like, nah. Honestly, it was before then, but really at no moments I was like, no. Like, I'm weak now. You see me as weak. You feel like you could talk to me any kind of way. You feel like you could treat me any kind of way. So no, I'm done being vulnerable. And it has been in my current job within the past previous, what? Dang, it's going to be a year pretty soon. That ain't time flying by. Well, in the past 6-9 months, really longer than that, there's strength and vulnerability. I have been listening to Brené Brown's book on Dare to Lead, and I love her approach to using your vulnerability in your leadership. And I know, just, you know, with older generations, they don't always want you to talk about everything. They think, you know, you got to keep it behind closed doors. And I have never felt like that was the thing. I feel like some things need to be exposed to stop them from continuing. And there were certain just choices and decisions that I made that my mom didn't always support and understand. But towards the end, she started to understand a lot and respect a lot of my decisions, because they weren't popular. A lot of people didn't like them. Some people thought I was going to change my mind. It was like, no, I'm learning to be me. I'm learning to walk in my identity. And this growing process is not going to feel good, and it's not going to be popular. It's not going to be for everybody. But when you're in that business to break generational curses, when your assignment is to break generational curses and produce generational blessings, it starts with breaking generational mindsets, because those mindsets lead to behaviors. So I say all that to say I needed some time this past month to really deal with some stuff. And I'm still dealing and processing. I had to deal with why I was still having a hard time of going forth and living in my purpose. I can't keep letting fear hold me back. I can't keep feeling like, well, when I talk about my mom, I still hurt. It's okay. Because there are some people who are in that place. And my message, my delivery, my purpose isn't going to be for everybody. But that there's going to be somebody who is in the trenches. And they don't want the feel-good message. They don't want the look-good, perfectly put together message. They want someone who can relate and be there. I've had a lot of good days where I could smile and laugh, and I'm so grateful for a lot of relationships that I'm building. Because in the loss of my mother, I've gained an opportunity to have other relationships. Because when my mom was here, I was like, she the only one I trust. That's it. I mean, I got my sisters too, but my mama, that's it. Like, I ain't letting nobody in like that. I don't trust nobody like that. Like, I know I can trust her. But I'm developing and I'm learning to get out of that isolation to really allow certain select people in. And God has blessed me with people who truly have genuine hearts. And I have someone in my life where she has a heart like my mom is crazy. And I thank God, because she has truly been helpful throughout this process to have that relationship. I know some people will feel like, oh, I'm alone here. I'm like, but I don't really feel alone. If you use the community that he blesses you with, you're not alone. And I've just had to take time to deal with all my fears of the assignment, the calling. I'm not always confident. I get insecure. But one thing that is helping me out of the trenches is the calling on my life, the purpose for my life is bigger than me and my pain. And that this pain is going to be my power. This transparency, this vulnerability is going to be my power. And I know other people before me would prefer that I not share certain things. But things have to be shared and exposed to help bring true healing. And my last relationship, we didn't stay together long, but I realized, as disappointed as I was that we broke up, God had to show me and deal with me. I started to make that relationship my sense of joy. And in a sense, putting it before God, because I said that when I got, even before like we became boyfriend and girlfriend, when we started to date and spend time together, I experienced my first nights not crying. Before that, it was not a day that went by where I was not going to have a moment of just crying. Because my mom passing away shattered my heart. And God is still putting the pieces back together. But a broken crown can still color. So even through the tears and the heartache, you still are good enough. You still have use. God still can use us where we are. And I feel like it's humbling me to be able to see people where they are, meet people where they are. And I have a heart for people who don't see their worth and value. And it's because I haven't seen it in myself for so many years, and I'm learning now how to. And it's just like, as much as I want to help other people love themselves and see their worth, I got to start with me. And that's where God has me right now, is to really learn the identity that he has in me. And so I'm finding scriptures that are about what he has for me. Yes, I can see all the goodness, all the positive, all the being wonderfully made. But it's not for the sake of me. It's for the sake of getting out of me to see, okay, God can still use me. And so who can I now go help? Who can I now go reach? I am thankful for everything that has happened. This is a constant change that we're going to experience. There can be days where we feel like we're finally out of the trenches and we are doing good. And then something happens, something said, and we feel like we're right back in it. And all that pain that we thought was gone, all of the healing that we thought had taken place, we're like, dang, I'm not healed. So now I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not disciplined enough. We aren't enough. But we're going to mess up. We're going to fall. But the key is to get up and to have a team that is there to pick us up and lift us up. The process does not feel good. It doesn't. The end of it looks good. The thing is that some people will see the outcomes of people's struggles or hear their stories, and they want that. We're in this world of instant gratification. I want that. This is where they are. But when you really listen to the full story, this happened like 20 years ago for them. You know? What about that whole process in the 20 years to get to where you are now? And that's why I'm just gonna do these videos, to be honest and transparent. Like, I don't want to wait. And this, I was putting off this channel because I said, once I'm at my health goal, once I'm at my true, hold and healed self and version of myself, then I'll start posting videos. No, we're gonna post in the trenches too. We're gonna post when I'm wearing a baggy shirt because this ain't where it needs to be right now. And I just made some Korean corn dogs tonight, and I ain't been drinking enough water, and I did not work out today like I was supposed to. So we just gonna cover it up. And that's okay. Like, we're still gonna post in the trenches, and that's, I'm gonna just be transparent. It's gonna help somebody, and that's all it is. I'm not here for everybody. I'm here for that one somebody who needs it. I remember people who have been helping me and are still helping me through my process. And so we got to stop praising the end result and learn how to embrace and enjoy the process, because it doesn't feel good, but there are moments that we can enjoy. This hurts so bad. Like, I still be like, God, man, like, why'd you take my mom the way you did? I had to let her go. I had to give her back to you. I get that. I'm blessed for the time that we have, but I grieve. I grieve what I'm not gonna have. I was mad at myself, questioning, like, dang, maybe I should have went ahead and got married and had kids. But it wouldn't have been with the right person if I had done it years ago. I've had opportunities. Because now here I am grieving the fact that when I do get married and when I have a kid, she's not going to be here to hold them. She's not going to be there to plan the wedding. And for me, having that wedding it was going to be pivotal. Because it was going to be a symbolization of breaking generational curses. Because I said whoever I marry, he's going to be the one. To get me to say I do. Like, he was going to be it. And he was going to be someone who truly loved me and respected me. I was not going to say I do to somebody who does not genuinely love me and respect me, And so I agree with the fact that she's not going to be here for that. But all in all, she's still here in spirit. And I try to hold on to that. I'm still upset. I'm still hurt. I'm still sad. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be bittersweet in those moments. When I get my master's degree, she was my biggest supporter in everything I did. Everything. And so I'm just gonna miss her laugh. And I'm gonna miss hearing her voice, her smile, and calling her for help when I wait until the last minute to do an assignment and she's trying to teach me a whole lesson. I'm like, lady, I ain't got time. I don't have time for this lesson right now. I waited to the last minute. I got an hour. Help me understand this so I can type this out and submit it. I'm not going to have those moments with her. But I'm using it now as my motivation for everything I do. I sometimes don't like to talk to people about life and everything I have going on because I'm like, well, honestly, I feel like I talk about her too much, but I'm learning that her death is a part of my journey. Because there were things, none of us are perfect, but there were certain things about her death that is my motivation to become healthy, to become whole, and to help other generations. And so I have to remember through the pain. I gotta remember and I gotta hold on. She set a solid foundation to carry on a legacy like no other. And I'm gonna make her proud through the trenches. I'm gonna make her proud. And so through this process, it's learning holistic healing, financial literacy, physical health, maturity, spiritual growth, all of that is going to be learned and applied. So I'm learning and applying. Trial and errors. Ooh, Lord, I've been having some trial and errors, but I still keep going and I still persevere. I've messed up. I failed. I still be continuing certain habits, especially that whole financial one. That's like the biggest one. And then the health one, the physical health one. Like, it ain't that easy, but I'm not giving up. And I'm remembering why I started. And her death is a part of my now why. And it may sound bad for some people. I know some people don't want to hear about death. They just want to laugh. No. That experience is a part of me. It's a part of my journey. And in this sense, it kind of helps keep her alive in me. It's still hard, you know, to deal with people who knew her, because when they see me, they see her. And they say it. And I know some people feel like it's, you know, it's a good thing to talk about how they see my mom and me, but it's hard. Because I be in a moment of being strong and finally, you know, not as emotional. And then someone talks about how they see my mom and me. And I just like, I'm over here trying to be a G about mine, but you like making it real hard. You got these tears about to start flowing. We don't need to open up the floodgates right now, okay? So this is a process. This is a challenge. Everything that we're called to do, we're not going to necessarily like it. We're not going to necessarily like the process, but it's just something about it. I know what God has called me for. He has given me so many visions. He's made me a visionary. He's given me so many visions to what he has for me. And I'm learning now, like, everything's not going to happen overnight, dear. Give yourself some grace and some compassion. Take things step by step. Allow him to give you the directions. That's why he don't be wanting to give us everything and show us everything, because we be like, oh, let's go. Calm down. I just wanted you to see that there's more for your life, so you don't give up and feel like, what's the point of living? There's a lot of reasons to still live and go forward. There's a lot more purpose in you that's greater than you. I just wanted you to get a little snippet of what I got for you, so that way you'll keep going and, you know what I'm saying, and not give up. You can hit pause, you can hit reset, but you ain't gonna give up around here. That's not what I called you here for. So you may not like it all the time. You may not like this process. You may not like even the calling that I have for you. You may not want to be around a whole group of people, talking around people, and now your social anxiety on 10. Like, but I called you to it, so I'm gonna get you through it. Just be humbled and submitted to be used by God. Don't be used by nobody else. You be used by God alone. But that's all I had to share today, y'all. I took a break. To handle some unfinished business, going through my mom's things finally, preparing for this master's program that I applied for, and I'm speaking in advance. I'm just waiting for my acceptance. First day of classes on Monday. Ain't got my acceptance yet, but I'm trusting. I'm trusting the process. And I'll make another video on even the process to how I found that program. Probably in the next video. We'll see. But until then, you guys, while you're in the trenches, allow it to benefit you. Do self-reflections. Get out in nature. Shoot, if you ain't got nobody else that you can trust, if you feel like you could trust me, reach out to me. You can find me on my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, DM me. Because you're not going to be in the trenches alone. If you're in the trenches and you see this, you're not going to be in alone. I got you. And I mean that. Word is bond. Like, I got you. I don't have to know you to want to help you and support you. Like, I know part of my calling is to serve other people, so We're going to get out of this. We're going to be stronger. Through the tears, through the heartache. We're going to smile again. We're going to laugh again. We're going to love again. And really live. Live greater and bigger and better than we ever have before. It's coming. So, on that note, I finally did this. I stopped putting it off. So I want to challenge you to do the same thing. Whatever you are putting off, do it now. Write out the steps. Write out the goals. Give yourself a deadline. And do it. Try again. And again. Don't ever give up until you learn the way that works for you. Nobody else, you. Hope. Peace and love, you guys. I hope you all have a good night, day, whatever time of the day it is for you.